How is it going? What is going on? For those of you watching for the first time, my name is Ken Walls, and I'm the founder and creator of Breakthrough Walls, as you can see right there. It's a podcast, live stream podcast. I've been very, very blessed since 20. I have to go look. 2018, I think, is when I started it. Um, Interviewing celebrities and entrepreneurs and people of all walks of life. Over 650 interviews, which is unbelievable to me, actually, that I kept going. I just kept going. Um, One time I interviewed, and do me a favor if you would, please share this out. Share this out far and wide, as my buddy Drax would say. Share it out, share it in your groups, share it everywhere. So I have, like I said, I have the podcast Breakthrough Walls right there. I have, I created a company many years ago called Client Solution Innovations, and our mission in life has been pretty simple as a company, and that's to grow, help people grow. And along the way, I mean, my gosh, I've been in technology for 30 years ish, maybe a little longer than that. Built my first website, hard coded it, HTML code at, let's see, in 1994. Bling, thank you for resharing the stream. I really appreciate it. So I built it in 1994 was my very first website. So I've done a lot for a long time. And I've, along the way, in the year 2002, it's a story. Who wants to hear the story? I'll share the story. Buck, I appreciate you, brother. I just hung up the phone with that dude. You guys, if you're not following Buckster, make sure you follow him. He's a good dude. Good dude. So in 2002, I was sitting in a bar working on, I think, my seventh draft beer, the tall ones. Remember the, well, I don't know if they still do them. I don't drink anymore, but my seventh tall um, beer, and the tap off the tap. What do they? Am I saying that right? I don't like that's crazy. I don't remember that. Anyway, back then, like drinking was the only thing I really knew. I didn't know anything else, and I started. I mean, I was eating 2 packs of Rolaids every day, smoking 2 or 3 packs of cigarettes every day. I mean, I was out of control, and this dude sits down at the bar next to me, and dude, Carl Blanchard, how in the world are you doing, man? Holy mackerel, good to see you, brother. This dude sits down at the bar next to me and he says, "Hey, I'm ready to start that job here in 2 weeks. I just put in my notice." I said, "For what? What are you doing?" He goes, "What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm working for you." I said, "What are you talking about?" "No, you're not. You're not working for me, bro. I no, I'm downsizing. I'm certainly not hiring right now." And he got mad. It's a long story short. He's like, "You know what? Everybody knows you're nothing but a worthless drunk. Why don't you go get some blank and help?" And he got up and walked out. And like I said, I was on my seventh beer. I drank about half of it, and it was an upscale restaurant bar. And I sat there and I was like, "Wow." everybody. And I felt like all the lights had come on and there was this bright spotlight on me. And the reality is there wasn't, but I felt like there was. And I remember sitting there thinking, man, is this it? Is this all there is to life? Like getting up every day in the middle of the night sometimes to chug some vodka so I could stop shaking? Is there always in an argument with somebody all the time, always upset, always being the victim, I was constantly in victim mode. It was never anybody else's fault, never. It was always somebody else's, or it was never my fault. It was always somebody else's fault. So that night I didn't even finish that beer. I paid off my tab and went back to the hotel I was staying in because my ex had kicked me out. She was done with my shit. And thank you for reposting this, Sergeant Tom. Appreciate you, brother. And I remember laying on the hotel bed, and I was at this point where I didn't want to live anymore, but I didn't want to die, and I didn't know what to do. And so I just laid there, and I was in tears, and I said a prayer, and I said, God, I need your help. If you're real, I need you to I need your help. I don't know what to do. And wouldn't you know, nothing happened. Like nothing. I went to sleep. I passed out or whatever. I wasn't even drunk. That's the crazy part is, I was so far into my addiction that I had what's called, I learned later, um, I had what's called an unpredictable tolerance. So I could drink 2 beers and go into a blackout and not remember anything, or I could drink a bottle of Crown Royal and walk a straight line. It was crazy. I was bloated, I was jaundiced. Life was literally slipping away. And I went and the next morning I got up and I'd remembered from being at an AA meeting years before. Um, if you want to get sober, just ask God to help and get on your knees and ask Him to help you stay sober. So I did that next morning. And I said, I just help me stay sober today. Amen. That was it. And I don't even remember what I did, but I went to a meeting, an AA meeting later that night. And I went way out of town because my ego was so big that I thought if I go to a meeting close by and they see me walking into a church, like what are they going to think? And so I went to a meeting way out of town. I walk in and sit right down next to this doctor that I knew, and he knew me. And I was like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "Waiting on you. About time you got to one of these meetings." And what I learned is everybody around me knew it. Everybody around me knew. I was the only one that didn't know. But I did know, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but Kilburn, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you reposting the stream too. Anyway, so I went through. Um, that was August the 10th of 2002, and by the grace of God and a crazy, crazy, crazy amount of hard work, I've been able to stay sober and clean from all drugs, all alcohol, everything, any minor mood altering substance for almost 23 years now. What's up, Drax? White Rabbit Drax? Oh my gosh, I love it, dude. And I've been through lots of ups and downs in life, man. I've been through it all. I mean, there's there's always something that fuels what's going on behind the scenes. There's always something that's fueling that. And it's typically has something to do with childhood or whatever. I'm not getting into all of that. I've been through everything you can imagine in childhood stuff. But you know, I allowed that stuff. I allowed that record to play over record. I'm saying record, like there's people watching this that have no idea what a record even is. But I allowed those voices to play over and over and over in my head. Those stories that I told myself all the time, nonstop, about being a victim, about being incapable, about all of these things. And what I learned along the way was if I take responsibility for my life, 100% responsibility. There's a great book written by Jack Canfield and Janet Schweitzer, and it's called The Success Principles. And the very first principle of this 67 principles, I believe, the very first principle is take 100% responsibility for everything in your life. Everything. No matter what it is, take 100% responsibility. And so that was hard for me to do, man. It was so hard. Was very difficult for me to take responsibility for everything because I legitimately had been a victim in my life. Legit, like some really bad stuff had happened to me when at certain ages that were beyond my control. But if I continue playing that over and over and over in my head, well, I'm screwed. It's literally that simple. And so I eventually had to turn those stories into different stories. I had to do what's called reframing. I had to reframe what had happened into, instead of, oh my God, can you believe what happened to me? I reframed it into, oh my God, can you believe what happened for me? Because today I'm able to relate to just about anybody. I don't care what you've been through. I mean, I know people who have PTSD. Trust me, I'm very familiar with PTSD. I may not have had bullets flying at me on a battlefield, but I can tell you that I don't want to go into the details, but I just can't. I won't do that. But I'm, you know, I know what PTSD is, and I went to many years of counseling for it, for all the stuff. And I didn't think it did anything at the time, but it did. Eventually it stuck. Eventually it stuck. It all came up. It all came out. It all um, happened. And I'll never forget when my first sponsor in AA, in Alcoholics Anonymous, he said, "The people that hurt you, you got to pray for them." I said, "What? No, not praying for them. I'll pray for them to burst into flames. Not praying for them. Are you nuts?" And he said something very important. He said, "If you want to stay sober long term, you have to pray for them." I said, "Okay. Well, I don't know, like I don't think I can do that." He said, "Then you're going to drink and you'll probably die from it." I said, "Well, I'd prefer to not have that happen. That's why I've been going to these meetings and why I've been here and why I'm working these steps and everything else." He goes, then just pray for him. Start where you can. Say a little prayer for him. Gigi, thank you. Thank you, Gigi. Gigi reposted the stream. She's freaking awesome. There's somebody else. If you're not following Gigi, and if you're not following my brother Drax, and if you're not following my brother Buck, make sure you're following all of these amazing people. So thank you all for sharing this out. I appreciate it. Um, And listen, I get that this isn't comfortable for some people to talk about. I get it. I understand. Um, but it's something that I have to talk about because there's an old saying. It goes like this: if you want to keep something, you have to give it away. If you want to keep something, you have to give it away. And I want to keep my sobriety. I want to keep my spiritual connection to God. I want to keep all that. And and the only way I get to keep all that is if I give it away. Darlene, we are just getting started. I was just telling my story of leading up to when I got sober. And so I remember the very first night after he told me that, I was like, all right, I'm going to say my prayers before I go to bed. And I said, God bless so and so. I didn't even have kids. I had no, I had, I was pretty much homeless. A buddy of mine had let me sleep in one of his bedrooms for a couple months, but I was pretty much homeless. And Fidel, it's good to see you. I'm doing great. So that night, I remember saying, God bless this, and blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, and God bless so and so. Amen. I mean, I said it really fast and I didn't mean it at all and didn't want to mean it. Like, I didn't want to mean it. It felt gross to pray for these people. And and I kept doing this every night. I'd pray, and I always included the offenders in my prayers. And it didn't. Then it just became kind of second nature, if you would. And it was about 30 days into it, and I was praying one night, and I said this prayer, and all of a sudden I had this huge epiphany. For the first time in my life, I felt this weight lift off of me. You know what I'm talking about? Do you guys know? Drop a one in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. That weight, that pressure that's on your chest, like you feel like you can't breathe, like you're angry all the time, or you're pissed off, or you're ready to rip somebody's head off, and like it's a weight that you carry, and you're like, why am I so mad all the time? Why do I feel this angst towards so many people? And Gigi's felt it. And so I remember at this moment about 30 days in, and again, I'm still at that time, I'm still going to meetings, I'm doing all this work. I'll tell you something else here in a minute. Somebody remind me to tell you about the bottom of the coffee pot. Will somebody remember to remind me about the bottom of the coffee pot? So I'm doing all of this work, and setting up meetings, doing all this stuff. And about day 30, I'm saying that prayer, and for the first time in my life, I knew that I meant it. I meant it. I literally meant God bless them. I really meant I want them to feel better about their lives. I really meant, for the first time in my life, I really meant I want them to experience blessings in their life. And listen, to this day, I can't I cannot I'm not that guy. Okay, I'm not that guy. Like you I'm the guy that you mess with me or my family and it is on, man. But at this time, I was like, I, I, and I still feel that it's released. That pressure's gone. It's gone forever. Doesn't mean I don't still have pressures. It doesn't mean that I don't still feel challenges in life, because I do. We all do. And anybody that says that they don't will lie to you about other things too. We all feel this incredible pressure, this pain, this we all feel it. We all feel it. We all experience it. The trick is, for me at least, the trick is to feel it and then let it go. We got to let things go. If we don't let them go, they literally eat us alive. They eat us alive. We've all heard that saying, and I'll say it just for those that haven't. But when you have resentment and pain towards another person, and this is what I lived my life by. I literally lived my life every single day of my life drinking, numbing the pain, doing everything I could to numb the emotional pain, which manifested itself into my body as physical pain as well. I was just trying to get numb. I didn't want to feel that. And I remember somebody saying in treatment that I went to one time. I went to treatment in 2000, 2 years prior to getting sober. I spent 28 days in a treatment facility. But I remember somebody saying the word sober is an acronym for son of a bitch, everything's real. And I remember thinking, that's true. Because, all of a sudden you're sober, you're not anesthetizing yourself every night, drinking and doing whatever. And so you have to feel feelings for the first time, maybe in your life, or at least the first time in a long time in your life. You're feeling feelings, you're feeling emotions, you're not numbing them. And I was like, what is this? I don't get this. What is this? I don't like this. And so you go through this emotional up and down, this roller coaster ride of stuff. But I've watched a lot of people in recovery stay sober for a long time. Thank you, Kilburn. This is, oh, is it time for me to tell that part of it now? It's funny, dude. So thank you for that. Seriously, because I would have forgotten. Um, that's so nice. I appreciate that. So I've watched a lot. Okay, I'll tell that part. So there's this guy that I was at an AA meeting. There was this old dude from New York. I'm from Ohio originally. I live in Texas and have now for 3 years. But I'm at this meeting. This old dude from New York. I mean, old. I don't know how old he was, in his 70s, probably late 70s. But he's up giving his. It's called a lead, telling his story about sobriety. He's 40 years sober. People would joke and say he's been sober longer than God. And you know, God rest this man's soul, because he's no longer here, but his spirit and energy will live on in me forever. And many, many other people. But he says, if you want to know the secret to happiness, real happiness, and long term sobriety for that matter, it's in the bottom of the coffee pot back there on that table. And everybody turns and looks at the coffee pot like, what's this old kook talking about? It's in the bottom of the coffee pot. I'm like, it's not in the bottom of the damn coffee pot. What are you talking about, man? I've seen the bottom of those coffee pots. There ain't no happiness in there. They're the big, the big silver ones you see at family reunions. You know what I'm talking about? It's got the little nozzle. That's AA coffee. So I'm like, where's he going with this? He goes, let me tell you something. You get to meetings early, get here early, and set up all these chairs that y'all are sitting in. Like, somebody had to set all these up, and get the coffee, get it ready, make the coffee. And after the meeting is over and everybody's left, stick around and put the chairs away, put the tables away, grab the coffee pot, take it back to the kitchen and clean it really, really good. and wipe out the bottom of the coffee pot. Make sure it's all dry and perfectly clean. That's the secret to happiness and long term sobriety. And I was like, this dude's nuts. What the hell's he talking about? Like, what? How's that the bottom? How's the bottom of the coffee pot the secret to happiness and long term? I'll never forget it. And so I was like, okay, fine. I'm gonna go clean up the coffee pot after this meeting. I was the first one to the coffee pot. I'm like, y'all done with getting coffee? Because I'm taking this thing back to the kitchen. I'm finding this happiness shit that he's talking about that's in the bottom of this coffee pot. And so and Gigi gets it. She gets it. So I go and I'm scrubbing the bottom of the coffee pot. I'm thinking I'm going to find gold in there somewhere. I'm going to see, I didn't know. I had no idea. I was lost, man. I was one sick puppy. And come to find out that he was talking about the action of service, taking the action of being of service. Had very little to do with the bottom of the coffee pot, but yet it had everything to do with the bottom of the coffee pot. See, when we are serving others, and to all of my military friends, you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a certain honor that comes with serving your country, the United States of America, for sure. Huge honor. I admire the heck out of anybody who served in the military. I admire the heck out of that. If I had a regret in life, that would be probably my only regret. It'd be at least, well, it'd be one of them. I don't have many regrets, but that one I wish I would have served in the military. Um, but you can also be of service to mankind, to other humans. Um, I think about 9/11 and where I was. I wasn't sober yet. Um, in fact, it was a year later that I got sober. My brother Dennis over in China, China. Um, thank you for your service, brother. Um, but 9/11 happened, and on 9/11, the world literally came to a screeching halt. If you were anywhere on planet Earth, you're going to be able to understand. If you remember this, you'll understand what I'm talking about. All of a sudden, you'd go from inside your house or a building and you'd walk outside and you're like, why is it so quiet? Why is it so quiet? It was so quiet outside. There were no airplanes flying. Zero. I mean, zero. And like it was this eerie silence. It was insane because you don't realize how much air pollution, noise pollution there is up there from all those planes that are up there, but there's a lot of it. And then something incredible happened. The entire United States stopped hating each other. And it was for a while. I don't remember when we went, okay, let's pick it back up. Where were we? But everybody, it didn't matter if you were a Democrat, a Republican, did not matter. People were different for days or weeks or whatever it was. There was something majorly different. If you know what I'm talking about and you can identify what I'm talking about, please put it in the chat. If you know what I'm talking about, what was that thing? It was like all of a sudden humanity existed. And it wasn't just here, it was globally. There was a global sense of just unbelievableness. Is that a word? People, it was just different. And the entire country here, we all came together. We came together with one mission in mind, and that was a mission of unity, um, a mission of taking out the people that did this, and patriotism was, oh my God, I think it was at an all time high. You know, when you go through things like that, when you go through, and I was not in New York, I was in Ohio. I didn't go through that. I watched it on TV. I watched a lot of things happen though around me and around the globe that were like, wow, what is happening right now? I think people get stuck in life. I started Breakthrough Walls, the show, 650 ish episodes ago. I don't know all of them because not all of them make it to the podcast networks. I don't remember all of them, but there's a lot. I started that show to listen to interview people and listen to their stories about getting unstuck, getting through the crap in life. I wanted to deliver that to the world. I wanted people to hear how Buck went through something really, really horrific, and it almost took him out, or it did take him out financially, or it went, I have had so many people on the show that are multimillionaires or billionaires even. Rami Albatrawi was a he's passed away. He's no longer with us, but Rami was a good friend of mine. He was a billionaire, had the largest wide body private jet in the world, and was just an amazing, amazing man. He wrote the book "Can You Really Think and Grow Rich?" And Rami was homeless. He had been homeless a couple of different times. And I think about the people that I've interviewed and brought into my life that have come into my life as a result of interviewing them and helping them expand their base, expand their message to other people. And there are some things that these people that have made it, there are some things that they all have in common. And I've compiled a lot of this stuff. I've asked some hard questions. I've gotten some unbelievable answers. I can't even, so many interviews that I've done where I finish the interview and my wife looks at me and says, "That's unbelievable. Another person just said it." And this is the thing a lot of people say, "I can't believe I'm talking about this. I never share this. I've never talked about this before." And I've interviewed people that are like, "Wait, you've been interviewed 150,000 times. How have you not talked about that?" I've had so many people say, "I've never talked about this before, but I want to talk about it." And I feel so blessed to be able to be the recipient of whatever that is that they're talking about. So I've put all of these things together over the years. In my 20s, I had a huge sales team, a big, 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 big company that I started with from nothing. I started making cold calls on the telephone to set up appointments to go out and sell and working with people. I started from nothing, zero, less than zero, because I was in debt. So I was less than zero. And I'm here to tell you that no matter what it is you're going through, I don't care what it is. And a lot of people right now are going through a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of fear surging through the veins of our world, a lot of fear. And a very important friend of mine many, many years ago said to me, "I don't care what the problem is, the answer is God. I don't care what the problem is, the answer is God." When I think about that, I think about, okay, the answer is God. What does that mean? Well, God gives us opportunities, and oftentimes we ignore those opportunities. Oftentimes we turn our back on those opportunities because we think, oh, that's not for me. I can't do it. I can't. Da, 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 da. I'm here to tell you that you can. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Anybody. I don't care who it is. Anybody. So I've put together a program I'm going to share with everybody here briefly. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. If you guys want to talk to me about it, you can fill out the form and apply for it and we can talk. But I'm opening this up for 10 people to join and that's it. No more. 10 people because I don't want to stretch myself too thin and I really want to help 10 people right now. So I've put together this program. I'm going to share it on screen. It's called the Breakthrough Walls. Get unstuck, get seen, get paid. It's a 12-week mentorship program to reclaim your power, your voice, and your future. And I'm going to go through, we're going to dig deep to help people get unstuck. If you're stuck emotionally, mentally, or professionally, and you're ready for change, then this could be a program for you. You got big goals, but you feel blocked by fear, shame, or self doubt. Been there. You've lost momentum and you need to reconnect with your purpose. Been there. You're tired of playing small. Oh my God. Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. Been there many, many times. You want to turn your story, your experience, and your gifts into something that actually matters in your life, business, or career. And you're not here just to exist anymore. You're ready to lead. Apply now. And these are the things that you can go look at the website, look at the stuff that you're gonna experience. There's a form at the bottom. You can fill that out if it's something you want to talk to me about. There is an investment. It's not a little investment either. It's a big investment, but at the end of the day, if you knew what I've invested, oh my gosh, with Grant Cardone and so many other amazing people that have helped me along the way. So, look, if you're stuck, if you're going through the crap, there's more for you. If you know that there's more available for you, you're just not getting it, then go fill out the form. Let's talk. There is an investment. It's not a little investment. Like I said, it's not a little investment. It's a big investment. I have one program that's $25,000 a year to be a part of. Haven't launched that yet. Getting ready to launch that here in the next couple of months. But the Breakthrough Walls mentorship program is a fraction of that, but it's still an investment in you. So if it's something that you want to do, hey, jump in because there is absolutely no reason in the world for anyone to stay stuck. No reason in the world. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to stay in the crap. And I've been there so many times. I can promise you I know the way out and we're going to shine a light on the path and get you out of that. But you got to start with going over to kenwalls.com/ Breakthrough Walls mentorship, or just go to the top of the page. I'll show you that. Top of the page right here and click mentorship. Mentorship right there. It'll bring you to this page and you can click apply now, go down through and read all that, and then you can apply. So, life is filled with choices. We can choose to stay stuck. We can stay stuck in anger, resentment, pain, all of the stuff, or we can break free. We can break free. And I've guided a lot of people out of the darkness, a lot. And if you go to my website and look at some of the testimonials on the homepage, Frank Cronetti, some amazing people that are dear friends of mine today, really good friends of mine. That I mean, he was the number one car salesman in the world last year. I mean, how many car salespeople do you know making set way into seven figures selling cars. I've been there for him. He's been there for me. But I'm telling you, I've helped a lot of people. So I would love to help you. There's no reason for you to stay stuck. None. Don't have to stay stuck. And you definitely don't have to do it alone. Einstein said one time, you cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. So if you're experiencing stuckness, you're experiencing challenges and problems, I can help you. So I appreciate y'all being on here, and remember this, no matter what the challenge is, no matter what the problem is, no matter what the setback is, the answer is God. Seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened to you. And what's the last one? There's another one. Seek and ye shall find, knock. Somebody help me with the last one. Seek and ye shall find, ask and it shall be given unto you. Yes, ask. Thank you, Kilburn. Ask. Yes, ask, seek, knock. Got to ask, seek, and knock. So listen again, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm serious. Like I love everybody. I there's not a bone in my body that I feel hatred towards any human being on the planet. Quite frankly, I feel sorry for some of them, really sorry for some of them. But I saw that. It's all good. That's right. Ask, seek, knock, Gigi. You know, there's I do feel sorry for some people because of cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is you're so ingrained with programming in your brain, so ingrained and so deeply sold on this programming that you're so sold on this programming that you can't see any other way. And that's just sad, if you ask me. Anyway, guys and gals, I appreciate all of you. Darlene, I always appreciate seeing you. Gigi, I love you. I appreciate seeing you here, and I hope you're having a blast out in California. So, she's just visiting. She's from Texas. So, but have fun, break free from all the stuff holding you back. Man, life can be so much better. I'm so grateful for the life I have today. So grateful. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate you being here. Share this out. Share it with somebody you think needs to hear this. Share it with someone you love. Share it with somebody you don't love. Get this message out there. 10 people, and it'll go fast. This is the very first time I've even mentioned this. We've been working on this plan, and it's a big plan. I'm going to help some people really, really bust through in life and really experience what they know they're supposed to be doing. I'm going to help them. So we'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. God bless you all. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you soon.